So, hey guys, I'm set up ready to go. I'm going to make a quick video. I'm going to be doing some UV resin. And mainly I'm doing this because I want to test out one of my new Christmas presents that my partner John got me. This is a UV resin curing box. So I'm going to be testing that out and using that to cure my resin. Also, I had a cork, a champagne cork, left over from a bottle from Christmas. And I thought that would be good to use. So I've cut slivers of it and whatnot. And then I've shaped some of them and sort of put them in my pendant molds here. And then we're going to see what we can do with those. Those are resin fillers. They're little mushrooms, and there's a couple of little roses in there as well. So yeah, we're going to see what we can do with all of this. I've picked out a few colours as well to use. So yeah, and I am using as a mat to do it on at the moment some kitchen roll, because my silicone mats are really mucky and they are in the wash. So it'll be fine. We're only doing little pieces, so there shouldn't be too much spillage. But yeah, have my boom arm set up here ready to go. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna fix my camera to the boom arm and then get started with this little project. So guys, I've swapped out the kitchen roll, the kitchen towel, for a black piece of card I pilfered from John's arts and craft kit. Because I thought it would be better, you'd be able to see the molds a bit better. It adds a little bit more contrast, so you can see it a little bit better in detail. I will try not to get my hands in the way, but I probably will, so I apologise in advance for that. But here's the little fillers we're going to be using. Hopefully you can see them. So there are different little clusters of mushroom type things, and these little things, little roses, which I think I'm going to do first. I think there's another rose in here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. But I think I'm going to do something with the little roses first. Let's move the mushrooms out the way over there for the moment, and we will get back to them in a minute. Now let's see where the roses will fit. I don't know, I think that one, maybe. Yeah, let's see how we can fit these in, and then we can mix up the UV resin. See, what I've done here is I've got loads of tiny little slivers of the champagne cork and layered them in the bottom here, because it kind of looks like soil almost. So I'm probably just gonna sit the roses in amongst the stems of the roses, kind of in amongst those, somewhere there. Oh, do bear with me, I am very clumsy, and this is very fiddly. I'm not very good with fiddly little things like this due to my disabilities, so do please bear with. There we go. I think that one's in a nice sort of place. Oh dear, the leaf broke off of this one. Oh no. Oh well, it still looks quite good without the leaf. It's got one leaf now. So I'm thinking, put that one there. And then if I get this and lay that back over the top. That may work like that, like so. I don't know if you can see there. That might look pretty cool, and I think I'm going to do that with a light clear rose red kind of pink pigment in the UV resin. I think that will work really well. Yeah. I am a little bit worried about the cork though, where it's layered. Hoping that the UV resin will get in there and stick it all down and it'll be fine. Yeah, so that's the first one. So I'm going to set that side over there for the minute, and then I'm going to get the next one, because I'm going to do these in twos, I think. I'm going to do a couple with the fillers and then the rest without fillers. So yeah, just sorting this mould out. So I'm going to do this little round one now. And I think, yeah, we're going to go with, should we go with mushrooms in this? Well, that's all we got left really, isn't it? So I'm going to go with some nice kind of mushrooms. We've got little ones here and big ones. I kind of like that one. Will that fit in there though? Let's see. Just about, it pops out the top a little though, so that's a bit big. We might have to just go with some of these smaller clusters. Yeah, I think the smaller ones will look nice in there. I think that will look nice. Let's see what other ones we've got. We've got these tiny little ones. No, I'm going to stick with those because I don't want to overdo it with these fillers. What I'm going to do though, because this has a sharp edge, I'm going to poke it into the cork a little bit to help secure it. Because I don't want it floating around in the resin. I may need to get my little knife to make or a pin or something to make a hole in there. Bear with me a second. Be very careful when doing stuff like this with knives. Usually I would doing fiddly little things with knives like that, I would usually ask my partner to help me because I am super clumsy. Now, where was that hole I made? I'm trying to be forceful but gentle at the same time because I don't want to break this little mushroom thing because they are so small and so delicate. I don't want to break it like I did with the rose. There we go. I think it's in. I think it's done. I've got to position it because, oh, now yeah. Right, bear with me a sec. I've got to take it out of the mould to do this. Very fiddly. Where did I put my knife? There it is. Make that hole a little bit bigger. There we go. Much better. Hopefully that'll stay like that. Now I've got to manoeuvre the cork so it is in a better position. There we go. I think that is good. That is popping up out of the thing a bit too much, I think. There we go. So we're going to do the rose one and this little mushroom one first and put that in the UV curing box. And I think that is it for fillers because they are so small and so fiddly to use. So yeah, we're going to do these two. Let's do the rose first. Right, I need a little mixing thing. And I am going to get some UV resin. Squidge my UV resin in there. I usually mix up a little more than I need just to make sure I have enough. Because there have been times when I've mixed up what I think I need and then it's not been enough. So right, now I was going to get a rose red because they are roses. So I've got nice little rose red here, and I'm just gonna drop a drop at a time in because I don't want to make it too pigmented. I just want a slight rose red, a light kind of rose red. I don't want to overpower it with the pigment because I want to be able to see those roses through the pigment. So I want to keep it translucent. Oh, I think that's perfect. One drop was perfect, I think. If anything, it may be a tiny bit dark. Maybe for my liking, but I think that should be okay. I'm going to add a tiny bit more of the UV resin just to adjust that pigment a little bit. Ah, there we go. That's much better. There's a lot of air bubbles in there, but I'm going to leave it to stand once I've poured it in the mould. Sorry, I'm slightly off camera there. So yeah, them air bubbles, once it sits and settles, they should rise to the top and I'll be able to pop them with a cocktail stick. So I'm going to move this here. And then I'm going to gently just try and put in my resin. You can drop it in like this or you can pour it. I'm dropping it for the moment because I don't want to pour it in and the cork float out or the roses float away or whatever. weigh down some of this cork first. I'm hoping this one goes alright because it's layers of cork on the bottom there, little slivers of cork. So might be an issue there later, I don't know. Looks like it's covering that cork and seeping into the gaps though, so should be okay. I think I've weighed that down enough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly and gently pour over. I'm not too worried about covering the little sticky up bit for the hole because I have a tiny little rotary tool with drill bits, so I can just drill a hole, new hole. There we go. So that one done. I'm going to sit this over here and I'm going to chuck my used stirring stick in there. So that is the first one, and it looks like a bit of the cork has floated to the top, so I'm just going to push that down and make sure that is fully covered. But in a way that's a good sign, because if it's floated to the top, that little bit there, that means that the resin has got into the little gaps. And that's the back of the piece anyway, so right, that is done. So I'm going to put that to one side for the moment. Now for the mushrooms, I'm thinking I want to do a nice blue, a very light blue, I think, with the mushrooms. So I've got blue here. I'm going to get me another stirring pot and some more UV resin. Again, I'm pouring in more than I need. So this is a big thick piece of cork in there, so I shouldn't have any trouble with that floating up and whatnot. Right, so I've put one splodge of the pigment in again. I may have to adjust it with a bit more resin in a minute. It's quite a dark blue, this. Yeah, I'm going to have to put a tiny bit more resin in, I believe. Where did I put my resin? There it is. Just to adjust that colour a bit more. I mean, I could stick a tiny bit of white to lighten this up as well. I don't know. Yeah, because that's still looking a little bit, darker than I hoped. I wanted a nice, very light sky kind of blue. So I'm going to go for a tiny splodge of the white, and hopefully this keeps it translucent. Hopefully it won't go a solid colour. Just want a tiniest splodge of white. It's quite a big splodge, but never mind. So we've got our white in there. Let's see what this does. Oh, it's lightening it. But is that translucent still? I don't know. It doesn't look it, does it? This is an experiment, so it's probably not going to come out perfect. I'm not expecting perfection. So, yeah, we're just experimenting here. Right, I think that's the best we're going to get. It's quite translucent still, actually. I'm going to add a tiny bit more resin because I only want this colour to be, I want the colour to be kind of like just there so you can see it, but it's not overpowering. I keep lifting it off the black because the black makes it look darker than it actually is. I think that's the best we're going to get with that colour, really. So let's bring our little pendant mould in. Right, again, I am going to just drop in the first few bits just to make sure I cover it. There we are. So I want to make sure I get in between all those little stems and in under the mushroom caps and stuff. I think I can pour away now. So again, I'm gonna gently, slowly, I say gently and slowly, but right, make sure I've covered that cork. See, it does look very solid, it's not very translucent, is it? Maybe the white was a bad idea, but, and the mushroom's gone wonky. There we go. But yeah, maybe the white was a bad idea, but again, this is just an experiment, so we're not expecting perfection. Just going to make sure that cork is fully covered. And I think that is all fully covered and ready to go. Again, stirring stick in the pot there. I still have quite a bit of the blue left, so I might use that in a minute in one of the other pendants. But yeah, that's that one. Now I'm going to get these two ready to go into the I'm going to put them in the curing box and put that on. And then whilst that is curing, I will start on the next 3 pendants. And we can do some fun stuff with those. So yeah, that's them now in the curing box, and I've put them on for 2 minutes to see how they will come out. Yeah. So now let's do. You could probably hear the curing box purring away in the background. It's quite quiet, but you can just about hear the purring. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but yeah. So I've got 3 here ready to go. I think I'm going to do the teardrop first because I have blue left over from thingy. And yeah, so I'm just gonna pour in here a little. There we go. I need a stick thingy. I'm off camera slightly again, aren't I? I can't see the monitor very well at the moment. So yeah, there we go, a nice blue in there, that nice blue. I might do something a little fancy with some of these. Ooh, what colour should I do in this? Oh, I think I want to do a green in this one. Yeah, I'm going to need another mixing pot. So yeah, I use these silicone cupcake moulds to mix resin colours up in, because they're small, they're easy to clean, the resin doesn't stick to it, and yeah, you can bend them as well, so if you want to pour, you can easily pour. They're very useful. Where did I put my resin? There it is. Right, so I'm going to pour a bit of resin in here. Probably going to end up with loads of resin left over. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, again, I want to keep this translucent, so I don't want to go too crazy with the pigment. So I'm going to go with one small drop. There we go. And the cork is floated to the top on that one, which I don't mind so much. I need another stirring stick. I have loads of these little silicone stirring sticks, they're really handy. Right, so I'm going to mix this green. Oh, it's a nice kind of emerald green almost. That's nice, I like that green. I'm just going to lift this to stir. So I want to make sure that pigment is fully mixed in. Oh, I do like that. That is a very nice colour. It's like an emerald green. That's very nice. Right, so now I'm going to put that in this mould. This is a great way of using up things like the corks and whatnot. It's a great way to recycle. And I suppose like there's other things you could probably set in resin. I've seen people do it with leaves and flowers and seashells, and all sorts like that. So yeah, it's good to get different effects and things. And yeah, I think the curing box is finished, so I'm probably going to have to check that in a moment. I'm just trying to make sure I've filled this properly. There we are. That looks good. I can probably fit more in there, to be honest. That's perfect. See that? That is a nice green. That's very nice. So that's that one. Let's put that over there. I'm going to push down that cork in the teardrop one because it has floated right to the top. And I can see why there are air bubbles, so I'm going to have to burst those in a minute. Right, so I think this one, the square, I think I want to do a mixture of the green and the blue. I quite like that idea. So firstly, I'm going to drop in a bit of the blue. Just sort of in the middle there. It's probably be better if I pour a tad in. There we go. Put that to the side for the moment. Let's see how much green I've got left. I have a little bit of green. I think I'm going to mix up a tiny bit more green because there ain't much left there. And I want to make sure I fill this mould. There we go, nice bit of green. Sorry if I'm off camera slightly again. I can't see the monitor, see, so. There we are, mix that up. Right. That's a very nice green, I do like that green. It's almost, yeah, it's definitely almost an emerald green. It's really nice. Right, I'm gonna start by dropping some of that onto the cork there. And I know these colours will probably mix slightly, but hopefully I'll get a nice gradient of green to blue. I don't know. That might be interesting. Do a bit of a pour. There we are. Hopefully that'll be okay, that'll be a good little. So we have a greeny blue. Perhaps do with a tiny bit more blue in there actually, because there is space still, so let's use that space. And the cork is floating to the top. And I'm going to go with, I'm going to squidge that cork down first, and then go with a bit more green, I believe. I don't have much green left, I don't think, so there we are. That should be good. Right, so now we have 3 more to go in, and we have another cork floating to the top. Get back down there. Stay. get rid of that air bubble. Right, so these three are ready to go in. So I'm probably going to stick them in a minute. I've got to check the two that are in the curing box. I will be back in a moment. So there you go, guys. They're all in there at the moment. The first two were still a little bit sticky, so I've put them all in and put it on for another 2 minutes, and then I'll check them again and probably put them on again if they need it. But I'm only using 2-minute bursts because I don't want to overcure, because that could create yellowing, mistiness in the piece and whatnot. So yeah, I just thought 2-minute blasts and check, and you know, that should be fine because they are only small pieces. They shouldn't take too long to cure. But yeah, I will be back once those have cured and I will unmold them. So hey guys, these are cured up now. They did okay in the curing box. I did start off doing 2-minute blasts, but they were still not cured fully. So I put it on for a longer time, like 9-10 minutes, and then checked it. They were still a tiny bit tacky, so I put them on for another few minutes. The big square one though is still quite tacky, so I've put that back in, and you could probably hear that purring away in the background. But when that is done, I will take a picture of that one as well. But I'm just going to unmold these ones. Now firstly I'm going to start with the one I did the roses in. Now I can see the roses in there. It's probably a tiny bit darker, that rose red pigment, than I would like. Also the cork has floated to the top and it's kind of, don't know if you can see there, kind of sticking out a little bit, but I can probably fix that by sanding that a little and then adding a layer of clear UV over that. But that is the back of it anyway, so let's unmold this one and see what it looks like on the front. So there we go, that's what it looks like on the front, and I quite like it. It looks quite nice. It could probably do with a bit of a polish. Let me see if I can get a better angle and focus on that. I can't really see the monitor, but hopefully you can see that. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. It's come out quite nice. As I said, the pigment maybe could have done with being a bit lighter, and there is a bit of a scuff on there. But that can be fixed with a little bit of polishing. But overall I'm quite pleased with that. It's quite a nice little effect. So yeah, that's the rose one. Put that there. Right, I'm going to do the teardrop next. So the teardrop, I put blue, use some of the blue. Oh, it's running away. Use some of the blue and put a teardrop shaped bit of cork in there. Now I am really happy with how that turned out. I think that's quite nice. And if you remember, I added a bit of white pigment to this blue when doing the mushroom one. On the teardrop it looks nice. I quite like that. That'll probably need to be polished as well. Maybe sanded on the back a little bit. But yeah, that looks quite nice. Now for the mushroom one. yeah, you can't really, you can just about see the mushroom in there. So I'm a bit like, I'm regretting putting the white pigment in with the blue, because it has made it less translucent and more opaque, and I wanted it to be translucent. But you know, this was just an experiment, and every failure is a lesson, so next time we'll know not to put the white in. There's the front of it. It does look pretty cool. Again, you can only just about see the mushroom in there. So yeah, it's kind of, I like how it looks. I just wish the blue was a little bit more translucent and a bit lighter. But again, with polishing and sanding and stuff, that might turn out a bit better and look a bit better. Yeah. And then we have the little oval shaped one that I did the green, that emerald kind of green in. Pull that out of there. That looks really cool. That is a nice green as well. I do really like that green. Again, needs a bit of sanding on the back and a bit of polishing, maybe. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that one. That looks really cool. What I will do is I will take close-up pictures of these so you can see them in better detail. But yeah, for now they are looking good. And when the big square one is done, I will take a picture with that as well, so you can see that. I think it's because the big square one, obviously it's bigger, there's a lot more resin to cure, and also there was a big thick piece of cork in there, so it's got a cure around that and everything. So yeah, that's taken a little bit more time than expected, but yeah, it should be okay. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with how some of these have turned out. It was a fun little experiment with the cork. And I quite like the effect, and I think I'm going to use cork a little bit more in some of the resin pieces I make, because it does look pretty good in there. I need to practice a bit more with it, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with the roses in this one. I think they look really nice. But yeah, that is all my resin pieces here done. And I think that's it for this video. And as I said, I will take pictures. I will also leave a link in the description, or in the comments or whatever of this video, to the UV curing box on Amazon for you, just in case anyone would like to know more about that, or get one yourself. And yeah, and like I said, I'll take pictures and I will put them on this video as well. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you all later. Bye bye.